Is this our first time in a long time?
No one can see us.
I lost 6 pounds for nothing.
All right. Well, we're recording, so cheers.
Cheers. Salud.
God, I would love for this to be recording. Like,
tink, tink, tink.
After all this is finished, I would just love for this to have recorded. Because I think there's a high probability.
You think there's a risk this isn't recording?
Oh, yeah. Like, if you're...
Why do we have the lights on?
If Armand's recidivism to nicotine...
I'm turning the lights
all
on.
The video, like, yeah.
All
the video vibes.
Yeah, there's a lot of lights going. If your recidivism to nicotine is 90%, I would say it's a higher percentage that this isn't recording properly.
Interesting. Yeah. So I got to talk to you.
Yeah, but I also believe in what we've done here. It's a lot of work. We've been prepping for hours.
So technically, it's been 1 hour and 56 minutes.
Okay.
I hit a wall about 14 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So I got to talk to you addicts here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you both go to bed with different versions of nighttime lullabies in your sweet ears.
Oh my God, yeah.
And Nick is like Bloomberg, Nigeria.
It's right now because of daylight savings. It's changed. It's Bloomberg, Africa, and then an hour of like Middle East.
Looking? Okay.
A lot of inflation. A lot of inflation.
You just go to bed chuckling.
We lost 50% of our money again.
And then
and then around like 11 p.m.
You see 11 p.m.
It sometimes not on purpose, but then like Daybreak Europe comes on, and it's like at least British voices. They're talking about like major markets.
Is that a hit of dopamine for you? Like kind of brings you back?
Yeah.
Or is it soothing?
It's kind of soothing.
Okay, I have like so much. I have so much to go on here.
No, I mean Bloomberg in general is just kind of like monotone
I can understand
voices,
that. Yeah,
and there's
it
no
is very
commercials.
monotone. Oh,
there's no
wow.
commercials, which also makes it like you
is
don't
this
get interrupted
Sirius
by
XM app, or what is this?
Yeah, on Sirius XM.
Okay.
It's my most used app on my phone.
It is?
Yeah.
Mine's my gym key card. Yeah.
Oh, come on. This fucking guy. Oh my God. That was a hell of a line though. That was a hell of a line. So then you're like Stephen Fry, Sherlock. So let me catch myself and everyone up. Last week, pre-pod, you were like talking to me again for like the 15th time about like how much you enjoy these like nighttime
podcasts,
melodies and podcasts,
audiobooks
in your ears. And I finally like tuned in. I was like, okay, hold on.
Well, weren't you having some trouble sleeping?
So I have sleep. I don't have a problem. It takes me sometimes 15, sometimes 30. But if I start looking at my phone, I could end up being up for hours.
Mm-hmm.
But my general problem is not staying asleep. My general problem, if I had a problem, is falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the initial onset. Mostly because my brain is just going and I end up thinking of things to do and nonfiction and work. And, so I just keep going and I can't relax. So that's what keeps me from sleeping. It's a very easy thing to solve. Just don't do that.
Don't think anymore.
Don't think, do a meditation and just go to bed. But like you started telling me like, no, I'm really big on, I think we were talking about The Alchemist. I was like, do you remember reading The Alchemist? You're like, yeah, I recently reread it and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I did too. I kind of was like, let me read some fiction. Let me listen to some fiction before I go to bed. And then you were like, yeah, I do Sherlock. And I was like, really?
Sherlock Holmes.
So I pulled up Sherlock on my phone. I'm like, this one, it's like 70 hours.
It's
the
like
complete series.
All of Sherlock ever.
It's the complete series. And then, of course, I start Armanding it. There's like 3 different versions. And I'm like, which version is the best version? And, all this stuff. So I picked the Stephen Fry version of the audiobook.
This is the Alfalfa round.
And yeah, I think it is. Because I literally sat and compared the audio samples.
So what are you looking for?
The right British voice.
Yeah,
it's the right tone,
first of all,
the right performance.
I think this is what makes it such a good lullaby, is that it is a British old man, typically.
Yeah. I read the reviews. How did it make people feel? Oh my God. So then I end up staying up all night that night because instead of just starting and listening to Sherlock, no, guess what I do? I start investigating best sci-fi that is in the sweet spot of interesting enough,
but not too enthralling.
Did
And I found
Demon?
I created these no, it's not in there.
Okay. Okay.
I created this like top list of 25 books that now I'm really excited to get through.
This,
Snowfall?
Okay, by the
Um,
way, this podcast that you're describing, the top 25, outperforms Alfalfa.
So
Top
now I have
25
like,
books.
I'm like, okay, Eric got me excited. Like you got to fall asleep to like these audiobooks. So I got 25 sci-fi audiobooks. And then I'm like, and then I asked Claude, I'm like, well, what about just Sherlock? And it's like, oh, well, nothing comes close to that.
Damn.
Like that beats all these sci-fi books that I'm talking about for bedtime reading. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to start with Sherlock. Bro, I am out in 3 minutes.
Okay, so
Wait, how are you
And
listening
then
to
I
it?
went on like, what kind of headphones do I use? So you remember I got you guys those
Yeah,
sleep headphones?
sleep headphones. Yeah.
I
It
went and
works.
found mine. It's perfect because it's like a pad around your ear. It goes
Mhm,
right in your
mhm.
ear. And like I sleep on my side, so I don't want it to hurt. And 3 minutes, man.
Okay, so I agree. I mean, I obviously agree. I told you about this, but like I've thought a lot about why this works for me, and here's why. If I'm like listening to fiction, it like I'm creating this fantasy scape in my mind, which is very akin to a dream.
Yes.
So I'm like already close to dreaming, and then I just slip into a dream.
It makes so much sense. It's incredible.
But it's a drug.
But yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Like, what's the problem with it? Like, you just now you need it. You can't fall asleep well without it.
I'm more addicted to this than to nicotine or alcohol or anything. Like I get anxiety if my phone is close to like being dead and not charged enough
I can
to
understand.
last me the night. Because
I
like
can
I'll wake
understand.
up, I wake up naturally just because I'm an old man. I got to pee sometimes, but then I got an infant who's like waking me up in the middle of the night. So I wake up in the middle of the night all the time. And like my only cure for that is like, oh, that's fine. I can go to sleep so easily with the Sherlock. But if my phone isn't charged enough, I am in full panic.
I got some
Yeah,
fiction that I listened to.
I gotta find my. Oh, here it is.
Demon?
Yeah, tell us.
which is about future AI agents that take over the world.
Yeah, you also have nightmares that wake you up in a fucking sweat.
I wouldn't recommend that one. Red Rising. It's like a Scottish accent. I don't know. It's not that
Ooh,
great.
I like Scottish.
How to Build a Car by Adrian Newey. That one's good.
That one sounds
It's kinda
amazing.
How to Build a Car. The Lords of Easy Money. I never really got too much into it.
I'll give you my list.
Yeah. What do you got?
Okay, so my list is the bedtime no anxiety quality first ranking. But what's above this is it says honestly, the Stephen Fry narrating Sherlock Holmes might be the single best bedtime audiobook ever made.
Damn.
His voice is warm, measured, and unhurried. It's like being read to by a brilliant uncle. There's alfalfa in the volume level. It says this was so key.
God, you're
Claude was
such an
like,
optimizer.
bring the volume down to where you kind of are like trying to hear it,
Yeah.
and then it puts you to sleep even
You
faster.
know what's funny is I find all this shit intuitively. Like I found Sherlock intuitively. I find the volume level intuitively. I don't need a coach, man. I am my own coach.
You fucker. Okay. Here we go. Project Hail Mary. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. These books by Chambers. I forget her first name, but Chambers.
So the Long Hail Mary is a book. It's not a movie. First, with Ryan
Yeah.
Gosling.
Really?
Yeah, it's about to come out.
Yeah.
There's that one's about to come out.
Cool.
Damn. So you know that one's gonna be good.
And so apparently the book's phenomenal.
But that's the problem. It's gonna be too good.
The book is apparently like one of the best sci-fi books ever
It's like
and recent.
teetering on
times.
too enthralling.
So Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
Good one.
Douglas Adams.
That would put me right to bed.
Psalm for the Wild Built, The Martian,
Uh-huh.
also by Weir. And then there's a bunch more.
Okay, so
there's some Bradbury books.
I want to ask you though.
um,
You've been a few days into this new paradigm.
Mhm.
Do you find yourself getting attracted to the light like a moth? Like how I'm fully addicted.
I'm really excited. Ender's Game is number 20. Yeah, I'm Ready Player One isn't in the top 20. It's like number 25. I would have thought higher. Yeah, so I'm very excited because, well, I'm already having a bit of a problem with it. The problem I have is I actually want to read these books.
Yeah.
And I'm falling asleep. So I'm setting a 10 to 15 minute timer. I'm out in like 5 minutes.
Okay, so I've actually
so every day I have to like rewind.
I've
like,
actually
where did I leave
I've
off?
read a book like this. I've actually read a book fully like this.
Have you gotten through one?
Yeah, and it's like I set the timer for like 30 minutes, right? Like the sleep timer. And I have to remember. I have to like go back every night.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so where was I? Okay, yeah, this rings a
Yeah.
bell, and then like I start again, and I get like 4 minutes.
But
until
this
I sleep.
idea, I'm excited, and I think this is really good for me because my problem, as you guys know and are laughing about, is like I can't listen to something passively. So, like you guys listen to podcasts all the time. Like I can't unless I'm 100% tuned in. So I think it's really good for me to just be able to like passively have something there and relax and fall asleep. So I think maybe this is just different. Maybe I won't read these books. They'll just be wallpaper.
Or you'll get into a really good part and then you just
And then I stay up all night.
Yeah, you can stay up all night.
That's what I'm worried about. So
I can't wait for you to report back.
I want to
we'll
know
see.
if anybody else does this, or is this like
So many people do.
Is this contributing to
Hookem
our-
got us like these similar, these like earmuff things that have Bluetooth connection to them. Because he was like, I do the same thing. The only issues I've had with both of those is that they last like 3-4 weeks, and then the connection stops.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I got so excited I just bought a new set. I was like, okay, I need new gear. You know?
So I'm a
Optimizing.
wired headphone guy, and I sleep on one side and then put the headphone in the other side. So like facing up. Because I can't have anything.
I do one AirPod, and if I rotate sides, I just throw the same AirPod in the other ear.
It's good. But the problem with the AirPod is if you toss and turn like I do, that AirPod gets lost in the sheets somewhere.
Yes.
And then the anxiety kicks in high.
Every morning I'm looking for my one AirPod.
That's funny. Do you have like a set at the nightstand for nighttime?
No, it's the same set I use all day.
Yeah, it just goes, yeah, see that would freak me out. I'm like, it's my primary set. Like
I think the new ones have this feature that it detects once you fall asleep, it'll
yeah.
turn the volume down
Yeah.
and turn off your audio.
I think wired is healthier. I was thinking about that. I was like, these Bluetooth ones to fall asleep to, I don't know. But
Higher
at this point,
higher electromagnetic
we're
waves.
surrounded by Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
Yeah. You know how people cope with it? They're like, it's less than going on a cross-country flight.
Yeah.
And they always use that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but what if I just stack all these up all the time? Then it's bound to be bad for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not net zero.
Yeah, there's always a cost.
So, yeah. Anyway, thank you. I think it's good for me because it helps me unwind. Should we shout out our sponsor,
Oh yeah.
or should
Give a
we
shout
dive
out
into
to-
one topic first?
ZBiotics.com/alfalfa. Use the code alfalfa at checkout to get 15% off the pre-alcohol. The pre-alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It's the drink you drink before you drink. We just got a new
That
package.
should be on billboards everywhere.
Yeah,
I know. We just got a package delivered to the house. We're restocked. Feeling
Well
good. Feeling
done.
ready.
Yeah, I got my monthly.
We have some shows coming up. Music. Little
Yes, he's
Concerts.
really into the
Look
shows.
at this.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, she
guy's
books
like
them.
27.
Yeah.
We got shows coming up.
Yeah, dude. I haven't left my house. I haven't left
This
my
guy's
house in
going to like
months.
Sunset, Tycho,
Sounds great.
vibes.
Carne Asada
Sounds
Chris
great.
is just on his way to South by.
Oh,
Yeah, they
wow.
brought
Literally
their
right now.
ZBiotics as well, I'm
Mhm.
sure. But yeah, go to ZBiotics.com, use the code alfalfa at checkout. Lets ZBiotics know you heard it from us and get you 15% off. If it doesn't work, they'll give your money back.
Yeah,
Acetaldehyde.
Acetaldehyde.
that's the culprit. That's the culprit.
I'll get it in no matter what.
That sneaky little bugger. That toxin.
Yeah, I got to get rid of
He's
that.
a fucker.
Got to get rid of that.
So I'm excited for maybe two topics.
Yeah, what you got? Let's see. Let me pull up
So which one first? You kind of take me with you.
Well, I mean, I got a lot going on with the AI
Yeah.
on the AI front because you guys have so cordially ushered me into the modern era.
Were we gentle?
You were just right. I would say Goldilocks zone, both of you. I've been having conversations with my peer group, my business partner, to the extent where like we all feel like dinosaurs. Like we've like let time pass us by. And thankfully I have like you guys sort of like towing me along, because the Claude upgrade, first of all, has been magnificent.
Yeah, it's a big upgrade.
The paid Claude, now going into co-work version and like designing things myself. Like,
have you tried like a scheduled task?
I haven't tried a scheduled task.
Try a scheduled task.
Okay.
Like what would you do normally when you start your day? Like, say you want to start your day, you need an overview of the markets, right? I don't know. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Do you check 7 sites?
Yeah.
Do you go to 3 different tools on your computer?
Yeah.
Have Claude do it.
I hadn't even thought of that.
Like, tell it, this is how I start my day. I want you to create a skill and then schedule it and run it every day. When you open your computer, or you could just leave your computer open. Maybe it's a home, and it'll just 5:45 a.m. Boom. Runs. I start my day with a CEO morning brief. I end my day with my stand-up being done for me, where it scans all my tools and actually tells me what I did that day. Like, dude, the stuff you can do is just bonkers.
Just when I think I'm catching up.
No, we got to keep it moving though. We got to keep it moving.
No, I like that. No, I do. I'm currently in the process of automating some things for our business. Like
nice.
When we onboard a new client, like there was like this really archaic format where you like email each other back and forth to try to like understand what this client's like risk tolerance is and how to invest their money. And I'm just like having the bot help automate this system and like design the templates to like, because I would like build a template after getting that data, so let's just like speed that up.
Well, I know you're going to go so far and so much further than I've even gone, probably in many ways.
Yeah. Right.
No, seriously. Like, you're the type of person, like, I think you're later to adopt, but you'll end up utilizing these tools in ways that people haven't thought about and go way further, at least in your arena. We all will. We all should, to our own purpose and what we do. But it's this mind share that I hope we keep having about.
Okay,
like,
I'm almost scared too, though. Here's the reason why. Like in my arena, it's so regulated, and like using these tools is it's sort of uncharted territory. So like we have very strict regulations on how we operate our business and how we communicate with clients, non-clients, et cetera. And I feel like if I was more entrepreneurial and like more avant-garde, I would be using these tools in like way more interesting ways. I'm trying to like not rock the boat too much.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know enough about that to feel like there's plenty of people.
I don't know if there's too much risk in waiting in your industry. Like, I feel like in the wealth management industry, they're going to be a little slow anyway. So like the fact that you're already thinking about it means you're good.
And just send it. Is that what you're encouraging?
Yeah.
Just send it. Yeah.
But just stay away from mission critical stuff.
Or just client data.
Yeah, client data.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone cares about your workflows. It's only data that's important here.
No,
right?
but I was also thinking like the okay, here's another thing I was thinking, and this is going to allude to one of our future topics, is like so in an industry like mine, financial advisory, traditional financial advisory, private wealth management, an AI bot is going to do a lot of like the very simple tasks that a traditional financial advisor would do, like portfolio structure and like diversification. That can all be handled by AI.
Yeah,
that is like such low hanging fruit for the AI. I think when I dig deeper on it, though, I'm like thinking, okay, so everyone's going to have access to these tools. But that means everyone. So
you might have just actually hit at the key insight of where this is most powerful for you. Maybe it's not powerful for you in your workflows. I mean, it is. You're already saying it is, but it's understanding your client and how their position might be evolving with how they think about the type of financial advisory and services that they're going to look for. That's the next 20% beyond what AI can do. Because every wealthy people always want more.
That's true.
So if something starts to become table stakes, and I can just talk to Claude about it, it's like, what's the special thing that Eric provides, that Scope Wealth provides beyond, that starts to get interesting. So almost like market research.
Well, I think if I were to like distill what I like best about our job or our work is this like constant curiosity and knowing things, business models, industries, value chains inside and out, and understanding like who's going to make money under any situation. And I think that people who are DIYers are going to get very easily like the standard boilerplate like financial advisory stuff, but like I would be shocked if somebody who's DIYing is like doing the type of research that I'm doing, and like my level up in terms of just like fundamental analysis on businesses and my scale. Like I can understand way more stocks using these tools than I ever could before. Like I can understand like a fundamental value range to understand like what stock would I want to buy now, which is different from somebody saying like, well, I want to diversify. I want to have like, mostly S&P or whatever. Like I think for me, our edge has always been like, we're trying to beat the market, which we have since, I ran the numbers. We've been beating the market since 2015, which already places us in the top decile. But I think where I'm going with this is that like, if we all have the tools, the same tool, like somebody like me is going to use that tool differently than somebody who's like a novice amateur. They're going to use it to like a C level, and I'm taking it to like an A++ level.
I mean, one area I feel like where having a financial advisor really matters is they prevent you from making all the behavioral bias bad decisions, all the behavioral bias errors, right? Like when you get scared, you want to sell, and when you get greedy, you want to double down, and like, I don't know,
when you get
some
euphoric,
cost fallacy,
you want to buy more,
like all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like a layer in between the DIYer, like being able to pull a trigger.
I agree. And
selling losers, And
I think some advisors are better than others in that particular vein.
I feel like that's one of the last like benefits of advisors, just like a human in the loop.
Another
like,
human.
Yeah. Like, hey, I know you're scared, but like, I'm not going to let you make this like classic.
It's a disconnected human. Yeah. It's an objective, disconnected, my only horse in the race is you making more money. No emotional ties. It's a very valuable thing you're paying for, actually. If you think about it through that lens, it completely makes sense.
Because you could have like I have a portfolio strategist skill, and if I say I'm going to make a trade, I guess I could have it like go through a checklist of all the behavioral biases, but I don't think it'll be as the same as another human being like, no.
Well, I think what I'm trying to say is that human has to be good. Like that's the disconnect that I'm seeing here. It's like, if everybody has access to the tools, then what separates still is the human.
Yeah.
The human has to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been digging in, you're kind of like really starting to utilize it in your work, and you're thinking a lot about it from an investment strategy perspective. I know there was like that paper.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to get into that.
I think it's a good segue, because like this paper talks directly to what it was. Anthropic released a research paper based on actual usage. So it's like user data. And they were analyzing what industries use AI the most, and what industries and what jobs use AI the least. And they were coming out to conclusions on like what jobs are actually safe from AI based on this usage data.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, for mine, like financial services was like one of the most replaceable, like immediately replaceable by AI.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were on video and we had like screen sharing capabilities.
Yeah.
You could show the charts and the graphs. Nick, I don't know if you have it pulled up, but
I'm pulling it up right now just so we have
It's pretty good stuff.
This research report, it's like 17 pages or so.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. I think it's like a lot of what you'd expect. Like things that require a human are typically like hands-on blue collar stuff.
Where'd you get this from?
David, business partner David, sent it to me.
Wherever it's hosted is 404 not found anymore. It was working the other day.
Oh, damn.
Your market. Okay, here we go. I did start following the Anthropic head economist on Twitter. Seems like a important person to follow.
Yeah.
On there. Okay, here's the key findings. We introduced a new measure of AI displacement risks called observed exposure that combines theoretical LLM capability and actual real-world usage. AI is far from reaching its theoretical capacity. Actual coverage remains a fraction of what's theoretically feasible. Occupations with higher observed exposure are projected by the BLS to grow less over the next 10 years. Workers in the most exposed professions are more likely to be older, female, more educated, and higher paid. We find no systemic increase in unemployment for highly exposed workers since late 2022, though we find suggestive evidence that hiring of younger workers has slowed in exposed occupations.
So the occupations,
which kind of makes some of those tie together. So if AI actual usage is less than its theoretical capability, it means that like you're using it for junior roles right now, and it sounds like those junior roles aren't being put out.
I would love to show this chart if we could, but
is that what it means?
I think you could mean
the chart shows a couple things. One is that it shows, like Nick said, the theoretical capability of AI to do the work. Yeah, that's
potential. Let's just call it the potential.
AI's potential, and then here in the red, it shows like the actual
true usage.
But like, I'm probably much more interested in seeing the jobs that are like, there's no even potential capability for AI to disrupt.
All right, you want to hear the ones who have the least?
Yeah. Let's go over.
Okay, from least, grounds maintenance.
Yeah, dude.
Can't touch it. Second, transportation. Makes sense. Looks like next up is personal care. What does that mean? Does that mean like personal care products? Like,
I mean, that's
selling those goods?
Like, I think it's probably like somebody who's like cutting your hair.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Like I was thinking that, or like nursing, kind of personal.
All right. And these ones are kind of like all in the same category or same level: production, installation, repair, construction, agriculture. I think we'd all agree. Those kind of make sense.
Farming.
Yeah. This is all until like robotics merges.
That's for now.
All right. The next is healthcare and support.
Yep.
After that, protective service. And then it takes a big jump up to social services. And then that's kind of like the brink at which I'd say
I was surprised to see sales quite high.
Yeah.
Sales is quite
that's
high.
one we talked about before. And it's
where it's like there is this people element. But again, the capability gap with the real world gap is still there, just like all the other categories. Like just because the capability is high doesn't mean much if the utility and usage of AI and sales is low.
all right. Most impacted.
Yeah, let's talk about the most exposed.
Okay. I'll list them off, then we can talk about it. Office and admin, management, business finance, computer and math, legal, arts and media, architectural and engineering, life and social sciences, and then actually sales and healthcare practitioners is like kind of medium.
Yeah. So it's basically like any office administration, then like coding. Those are the top two. Like, white collar office administration, billing.
That's a lot of people.
And then like when you add in software development and engineering, then it's like, holy shit. But the role is changing. We've talked about this a lot. Like the software engineer role, we probably won't call it a software engineer anymore by the end of this year, because you're taking the initial 10% and the output. You're an input and output manager, and then your agents are running in between that 80%. And so the software engineer role is changing. You're an orchestrator of agents. Having technical capabilities makes you, who used to be the 10x engineer and who had the big ego, doesn't have as big of an ego as he or she had in the past, but they are as dangerous as they ever could be with these tools if they choose to step into them and utilize them appropriately. So I'm bullish on those people and their capabilities of like making shit happen
They could
in
be
any
100x
organization.
engineer
They
now.
could be a 100x engineer. They
Yes.
absolutely
So-
could be. I mean, pure example, someone like Andre Karpathy can go, someone like Jan LeCun, is that how you say his name? Can
Think
go
so.
and raise $1 billion. Could that guy have raised $1 billion 5 years ago? No. It's the combination of the forces and time of AI, but also the fact that this person is truly a 100x engineer and is pushing the frontier forward. So that's really exciting, but also really terrifying.
I recently had a 1 year review for a software engineer that we'd hired a year ago. It was interesting. Towards the end, we got towards like what's the future, or most of the talk was the future of the role, but then we got towards comp, and I kind of like quite frankly said, and he also agreed. I was like, quite frankly, I actually don't know if software engineers are going to be less valuable or more valuable. So like no change because I
Let's keep it the same.
don't know.
Yeah.
And he goes, same.
Agree.
He agreed. But we had a whole hour conversation about
Leading up to that.
how would the role potentially change? I was like, what if you could be, you're used to working on technical projects, which enable the business, but they're mostly like, they're kind of like in a silo. I was like, what if you could just help me be like a systems engineer of the business? And and to him, I was like, the pitch is you kind of have to like think like the CEO. You get more context about how the business runs. You get stronger business acumen, which will help you, even if you go on from here to another job, appeal to like higher and higher ups because like you understand the whole business. Or if you want to start your own company, you have like strong business acumen beyond just being a good software engineer. So why don't you help me build systems that help this company run smarter, better? So I don't know. We had a lot of
I would
open-ended
argue
discussion about
that
it.
if the person is good, they're more valuable, and they're good if they're given a budget. So where I think it saves them money and they become more valuable is if you can look at that person and you can say, if I give you more tokens, does that mean I have to hire less engineers? And if their answer is yes, I'm more effective if you just give me more and more token budget. Give me more tokens, I get more done. I'll take the 10% in the beginning and the 10% at the end, and I will system engineer this to the way you like to describe it, or I will orchestrate this to the way I like to describe it, and I can.
I feel like that's the standard
compound
now,
it.
though. Like
it
you
is a
better be
standard,
able to
but
use
like
some
if
tokens
you
so that we
can't
don't.
do that.
Yeah.
But the thesis I'm laying out is like, if I give this person more tokens, do they save me money? And if the answer is yes, then I think they're more valuable.
Yeah.
And if the cost of tokens is going down over time, and if people are getting better and better at using dumber models to get things done, although everybody always wants the best, latest model because it's just much more effective. But let's just say that's true. Then Jevons paradox is ultimately true. There's more things to do, more things to create, and there's constantly more work to be done.
Yeah.
Well, I think
So-
that the Jevons paradox that you mentioned brings me to my other point that we haven't talked about, which is like that it's not necessarily about just reducing costs. It's like it's actually increasing top line. Like
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up because I actually had an example that came up in the last few days. I think I've mentioned to you guys before that we started creating like a system of agents that handles customer service.
Mhm.
Initial hypothesis was we spend, let's call it like $80,000 to $100,000 a month on customer service, software, and people. It's like, okay, well, we can surely automate a lot of that and cut down OpEx. And we'll invest X amount over 18 months, and hopefully around 18 months, we'll start seeing OpEx go down. But what we found is in the last couple months, and you overheard some of the conversation, was that because we were able to systematize the steps we want humans to make and systematize the response, meaning it's consistent response, and then we can measure the response, the effect of the response because it's so consistent, we're actually seeing like refund rate decrease dramatically. And not only that, but like as we were setting up for the pod, when the team members came in, it was like, dude, I can tell you at every single step of our like customer service flow, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, where our biggest problems are, what our effect on refund rate is. And he's like, so now I can run split tests for you. So at tier 2, if the issue is this is where we're getting most refund rate. On this issue in tier 3, we're sucking. So why don't we split test a different message or a different solution to the customer? And what he's finding is he's saving quite a bit of refunds, where we tried to do this with humans before, but with like 65 humans, it was really hard to just purely get a consistent response for them to identify based on what the customer said. Okay, you're in tier 3 of our response. So that suggests that you need to say this back. And they just couldn't do it, consistently. And I would even find it hard to follow this like structure that we created. But anyway, the point is that we got into it for OpEx decreases, and now we're seeing like the top line
that's cool
improve, which
that was what you were curious
should
about,
dwarf the OpEx savings.
And I think this might assuage fears on like the fact that AI might be taking everybody's jobs. It might actually just be like people keep their jobs, use AI to like expand the business instead of just like down.
I think the framework is
the
if you have
cost.
transactional employees, you actually try to automate it. If you have tacit, critical thinking type employees, you should hope for them and aim for them to be so much more productive. Like the goal shouldn't be to like replace them. It should be like, hey, I need you to like learn this so that you can just do a better job.
But okay, so a lot of this comes down to like what the study is highlighting, which is there's the real world and then there's the capability, the potential. So that gap nails it with, if you guys remember the Citrini, right, stuff that we covered, like my big thing was that I think we all kind of agreed on this was it's aggressive. The timeline was aggressive.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing has been like adopting it in the 80% of people that actually use this stuff, which is in the enterprise, is slow and methodical and fearful and requires a lot of red tape. So there's a couple components to this. The internet was very fast to adopt, but will be slower than how fast AI gets adopted because there's a whole new technology that was being rolled out. We had to literally go out and like put internet into people's hands, right? And like lay out fiber and like get it out into the world physically and through the software and through a CD-ROM that you plugged into your computer and 56K and set up a modem, all that stuff. AI is a layer of intelligence on top of that internet that we now just call Wi-Fi, and the internet itself. So the rollout and the ability that it has to roll out will be much faster, but it'll still be a lot slower than people think. And what this data proved, is that's directly in line with this thinking. It's going to take time, and it's going to take time for people's utility and usage to match up with any level of capability improvements and potential that comes before us. So like, if tomorrow there's a new breakthrough, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to cause immediate labor displacement. That's what, that's the driving thing that I think people are so worried about. And ultimately the Citrini thing, in my opinion, was just good old financial porn. It was just fear porn. It was just fear porn. And I think it's interesting and it was well done, but like I think all this AI stuff is so Hollywood all the time. It's so fucking Hollywood. It's so reminiscent of like the crypto stuff. Everyone just needs to calm down.
I love the direction you're taking this.
Calm down.
I love the direction you're taking this. So I remember when internet was rolling out, I was an investor back in this time. So just to be clear, it took a long time for the world to realize back during that internet phase, it took a long time for the world to realize like what the business models were going to be, like where the money was going to be made on the internet. Cause like Google IPO and Facebook IPO didn't happen for like 6 to 8 years after like the whole internet boom even collapsed.
Right.
So it does take a while. I think you're right also that this next phase will go quicker, but like how much quicker? Not as quick as Citrini is predicting. I agree.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to point out, I'm glad you brought it up, is like
he was predicting white collar displacement now.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
And all the dominoes that fall after that.
Right.
Other thing I want to bring up is like people can't see this, but we can see this, like the chart from this PDF. It shows like the potential versus the actual. The actual is negligible now.
It's a fraction of what the potential.
Yeah. And I think there's many ways to look at that. One way is to view it like, well, that gap's going to close very quickly. Armand's point is that gap will close, but it'll take a while, right?
Yeah, just think about all the ways in which that gap is attempting to even close. It's software, it's new platforms, it's humans, it's individual levels of bias, it's cultural, for sure, like in the US versus India versus China. It's a multitude of factors, constantly. Like it's how quickly does the platform that pushes the update make it easy to understand a workflow that's relevant to me to be able to then utilize it. It's financial pressure, it's market pressures, it's your company, it's your CEO. Like it's endless. Like all of those things are what shape adoption.
And I think,
I'll give you actual examples inside of our company of all those that you mentioned of how it's slowing.
Your competitors?
Yeah, there's like all these things
fast
are like,
they moving?
Yeah, but like who does it?
Yeah.
Is it the engineers who should do it, or is it everyone should do it? Which platform do we build it on? Is it open source or is it closed? Like there's like so many things that are like,
and there's huge amounts of AI FOMO and AI sprawl. So like there's this concern that I have in my organization where I'm like, there's too many tools. There's too many ways to do something. There's a lot of redundancy.
We have so many tools that have been
definitely
replicated
a lot of things
times.
are going to eat each other.
Yeah.
There's so much redundancy. How many ways are there to record a meeting right now? How many ways are there to search that meeting for the information you need? Should I do it through Claude? Because Claude's connected through an MCP through Granola. Should I go directly to Granola's agent and search it there? Everyone's competing for attention. Every single tool and every single platform is trying to eat the other one and compete to be the home base. Agent building platforms. Some of them are providing the APIs. Some of them are like, no, we'll be your entire agent orchestration layer.
Google will just take it all.
And then Google is wanting to take it all. Yeah, exactly.
They'll take it all eventually.
And then the LLMs are like, no, come to us. And then OpenAI has a meeting recorder. It's like, what the fuck are you doing with a fucking meeting recorder? It's like, okay, now you want to layer it higher and go be my operating system. So it's a huge war.
It is.
It's a huge war.
But one of our employees said, there's too many tools and it's coming out so fast. I don't know what to build on. And that's actually slowing adoption.
It is absolutely slowing people down.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because you're making semi-permanent decisions, infrastructure decisions.
That could change literally next week.
Yes. A lot of sunk time.
I think this dialogue is so interesting to me because, I think our audience in particular and our Discord users, like they're sharing this stuff in the tech channel about how like these things still have flaws, and to just presume that it's just going to like displace labor force at the alarming rate that people are fear porning is probably unrealistic. And that actually becomes more bullish.
Dan Simmons has been like a great voice in just highlighting and he's like, okay, if I'm going to say these things, I'm going to also back them up. And he'll like point these examples out of just how dumb all of these systems still continue to be. And at the same time, like as someone that works in this industry, I tend to lean more toward that. Like the more you understand how these systems work, the more I tend to appreciate them for all the things they do right.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I'm becoming that guy.
Like I keep focusing on like, I cannot believe the magic of what it just did correctly. And I can understand also looking at all the things that it does incorrectly and saying like, well, it's still kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are both true.
Yes.
But the fact that like, he might look up like, I don't know, like what's Southwest Airlines policy on bags, and it just fucking straight up lies to him.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
If
you ran your life based on that, you'd be fucking up.
Have you experienced like AI hate yet in like whether it's vendors or partners where like you're like, oh yeah, I use AI to do this, and they just immediately like repulsed?
No.
I had it in a meeting the other day. It was so funny. We're working with a lawyer on a deal. Deal's already done. And I was like, hey, I need a tax lawyer to review this deal. So what I did was I summarized a conversation I had Claude like 3 months ago to give him like a 2-pager on like, hey, just to update you on our business. Brand new lawyer, doesn't know what we do. Update him on the whole deal. And he immediately...
He's an attorney.
He's an attorney.
Yeah, no wonder.
Tax attorney coming in. He has the paper printed up and zoomed. He goes, this Claude bullshit. And he goes over behind him and points to his diploma on the wall and like kind of like puts it down. And he goes, this made it so complicated. So anyway, I'm like, all right, yeah, I get it. Like it gets things wrong. It's done. But anyway, it was just a way for me to like get you up to speed on like the decisions we made.
I'm trying to save a couple hours on
yeah,
fees.
just trying to like, I didn't want to like spend 2 hours getting you up to speed, but now you got it. Anyway, fast forward. So at the end, I was like, so did we make the right decisions? He's like, yeah, you're good. You did a good job. And I was like, well, thank God, because I used Claude to help us make these decisions. I didn't end up hiring a tax attorney. I probably should have in retrospect. Should have had him involved in the deal, but he poo-pooed it, but then was also agreeing with all
that's
the
so obvious.
decisions.
You get that. You know where that's coming from. That's the last clinging of someone who spent $100,000 more and, years of their life to be superior. There's no way in hell people are just going to go down easy, especially in America.
Yeah.
So America has a very, there's a lot of conflict with AI in the US.
And the other lawyer was like, so you use the Claude thing for this? Wow. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I can start using
I'm just talking to these two guys. I'm like, oh man.
Like we have a mutual friend that's been my attorney in the past. I think he's helped you in the past as well. I mean, I don't know why I'm being shy about shouting him out. I'm always shy. I'm like, do I say the person's name?
Yeah.
I don't think he would mind, but great attorney. Opposite reaction.
He's
looking at it with clear eyes.
Yeah.
How do I use this?
Yeah.
Is this going to? Yes, it is. What's going to change? He's just forward thinking constantly. So it's just a personality thing,
I'm still shocked. So they have this list of professions that will get disrupted. So instead of like industries, it gives individual job titles. And I still can't believe that sales representative is number 6 on the list.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be customer service. They're number 2 and software engineer is number 1.
I mean, sales representative is such a broad term.
There's a lot to.
Are we talking about the guy I talked
this.
to at T-Mobile? Are we talking about the person that picks up the phone? Are we talking about Google?
It says specifically
software sales? Like what are we
sales
talking
representatives that contact customers to demonstrate products and solicit orders. So maybe like an order taker, not like some of our friends.
There's a lot in there, right?
Enterprise sales, long sales cycle, multiple decision makers.
Agree.
Yeah.
Can I tell you that? So Armand, you bought 2 Teslas now. I bought a Tesla. I think that their order process, removing salespeople, was a dream come true.
Yeah. I bought a car on my iPhone.
Yeah, dude. And like everything is in front of you. There's no bullshit, haggling, wishy-washy crap.
I'm going to talk to my sales manager, see what I can do.
Well, it's in front of you, but they tuck it. They're very good about tucking it. The pricing.
I got tucked?
Oh man, they tuck. Tesla. I remember Chris was there when I was looking at, was it Chris? Yeah, I think it was. And he was just like, oh yeah, they're masters at
upsells and
the price you see is not
slightly
the price you get.
Obfuscation.
It's like at the finish line, you
call those dark patterns.
Okay.
They're dark patterns.
But it's still better.
Still better
than the bullshit of like, best car, bro.
Yeah, I'm getting like literally swindled
and
like face to face.
Insurance and we actually charge extra for those wheels, and all that kind of shit. They throw some tint on it for you. Extra $3,000. And it's like not a choice. I actually went to go buy the Tesla in person a week before for my wife. And we were disgusted by the experience.
Really?
Oh my God. We didn't go to Tesla. We went to a place that sells Teslas in
Is that
LA.
a thing?
Yeah.
I thought they only have they don't have dealerships?
No, everybody sells them.
Oh,
And
like used Teslas then?
Yeah, like
Okay,
a
okay.
pre-owned Tesla. It was like,
Got it.
anything that's not new. And there's a bunch of places in LA, like car dealerships. They call themselves like Tesla dealers or whatever. Awful, awful, awful experience.
But that's what I'm
Version?
talking. That's what I'm talking about.
No.
That's a
Okay.
human. That's a human. You remove them.
Yeah. So anyway, awful experience. No, not naming any races, but just very, very like bad experiences. And then went home and was like, "Fuck it, let's just." I think we ended up getting hers on Carvana,
Cool.
and we got mine from Tesla, and it was way better.
Tesla's way better.
Yeah, Carvana was great. CarMax, great, but not the old way.
Does CarMax remove the salesperson
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, there's no salesperson. There's like a sales helper.
Okay.
There's like a helper. There's no haggling. There's
Yeah.
no nothing. So anyway, on that note, I think the Citrini thing was overblown. I think this research is spot on in addressing the gap and the reality that we got a lot more innings to play.
So
my friend.
Okay, so after the pod last week, I think we were having a discussion. I forget what it was,
Yeah, we
But-
went into the
but we were
conspiracy stuff.
no that we did that, but
The
we were
cabals.
talking about Palantir. Oh, we posed the question. Okay, if these frontier model companies actually do get what's it called, nationalized?
Nationalized.
What's the bet? What's the investment play? And we
Okay.
put it into the investment analyst
Yeah.
Good one.
thing, and it spit out two main names, Palantir and Amazon, which was kind of surprising at first.
Mhm.
And then I heard two other discussions after that, and then we can talk about it. So next was Alex Karp. He's on stage somewhere, and he says,
It was like an A16Z like
Interview hosted-
investor event with a bunch of people in the audience.
and he said something
watching.
that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but he said something to the effect of like, if you're going off mouth and off that like your model is going to take half of white collar jobs and you're not going to be nationalized, if that comes true, you're retarded. Is
That's
that
basically what he said. He's like,
Okay.
if you're in Silicon Valley, so he specifically pointed at Dario Amodei.
yeah?
He called Dario Amodei retarded indirectly, because his point was that if you're going to sit there and be proud of like defending your company and its virtue and not making a deal with the government and not taking the deal the way I am, it was a lot of hubris. Like, I think that's what you took out of it. It's like, he's winning. He's continuously winning. 67% gain here, 100% gain there. Government contracts, $1 trillion in revenue, and or not trillion, $1 billion
20,
in revenue, and winning and saying we're winning because we are accepting the reality that you must make deals with the government, and if you don't, and you think that you'll maintain sovereignty, you're retarded.
Yeah. Okay.
And basically also giving credit to Sam Altman and saying like, I think I took it that way. It's like Sam Altman making a deal with the government is the smart play because you're going to get like nationalized.
Okay, so then 3 days later, I was like working out. And I listened to All In podcast. They were interviewing one of the like sub-secretaries of war, and he's talking about. They asked him like, so how did the negotiation actually go with Anthropic? Anyway, fast forward to one line, and he was saying, I told Palantir and AWS that like we need to have direct relationships with these model companies because we need to be able to. I need backups. I need redundancy. And it all clicked in like one circular thing where I was like, holy shit. The Department of War just said that they actually interact with Anthropic, with OpenAI via Palantir and AWS. He confirmed that. The portfolio strategist said, yeah, you need to buy these because they'll be the winners if the models are nationalized. And then Alex Karp, the only way he would know that these guys might have a chance of getting nationalized is because he sits between them and the government. So while Palantir is like, by most definitions, quite overvalued,
200 something.
it's
Forward,
like earnings,
like,
some
what is it,
ridiculous.
250?
Times multiple earnings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
But anyway, I guess I just want to circle back on our conversation that it seems like all those little data points that
Mhm.
if in fact they do become nationalized, Palantir's the one who's in between, meaning they're like receiving the money and they're the one connecting the models
Right.
for the government to use them. And so is AWS. They have like a secure version of AWS that the government uses. And so those still win.
Okay, so you're talking about this as if it's an eventuality. Do you believe that?
Which aspect?
That
Man.
they will become
All right,
nationalized?
there's two options. There's a hard and a soft.
Okay, talk about those.
The hard nationalization is they oppose, and then they're just like, fuck it, we're going to take you over. The soft is you become, like we've talked about before, like a Boeing, like a Lockheed. You are a very close government contractor in primarily national security. And in order to do that, we're imposing requirements on you. You have to work in like a secure environment. You have to do these things.
It can't be that version though, right? Because these situations are so different. One is aviation. The other is intelligence that surpasses the intelligence of all
think about
humans.
it like they're both weapons.
Well, this is a more powerful weapon.
Exactly. So like,
and
the people who play nice will be like a Lockheed,
a
Boeing who supply weapons.
How could our government not want to control?
So that's what I'm asking. Nick, you think it's an eventuality, either hard or soft nationalization, regardless?
Yeah, and maybe it's just you become.
Is there a version where it's not?
I don't know.
Can't see that version.
But like in the soft, it's actually not that bad. All it means is that they just acquired a massive customer with a huge.
Agree, but I don't think that even in I suppose like
wasn't the version that doesn't happen is just no more breakthroughs, no more growth.
No, I think they have massive growth. They have this enormous customer, the U.S. government, and then they also have their other commercial customers,
I'm
just
saying
like Boeing.
The only version where this doesn't get nationalized.
Oh,
it's like crypto or something.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, that was a fad.
Like it actually doesn't produce results.
Yeah, like AI just isn't good.
Yeah.
I guess
sounds like they're already using it. So
I'm trying to think about like what would happen to the stock, right? So like fundamentally you would have this big customer, the government, that is offering sort of like recurring payments for infinity years, essentially. But I don't think that is necessarily good for the stock, because I think you'd sort of re-rate down to multiple.
Your
that, like,
margin
Boeing
might
goes
get
to.
compressed. It might be like a cost plus model, but
Just becomes very predictable, right?
Yeah, and I wonder if that is stifling to their own innovation, or like because you're sort of like catering to
your
this
big
one customer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they would almost like split business units.
Yeah, probably.
You'd be like, okay, here's the business unit that serves the government, and here's the rest. I think they would be smart to be like, hey, yeah, we'll work with you.
Agreed.
You can take a copy of our model, host it on your servers, use it as you see fit. You still have to obey the laws.
Probably,
That's up to you.
Probably like allows Palantir to grow into its current valuation, like in a justifiable way.
Yeah. Anyway, those are the two that came up, and I still find that fascinating that those two came up in that scenario.
Agree. I feel like Palantir's moat in this scenario is stronger than AWS's. I don't know why Amazon's moat is so strong. Like why are they so? It's I guess it's like you've been working with
Servers
them.
in Virginia.
Been working with Amazon now, and Amazon has that relationship.
I remember back then when Google was kind of like flip-floppy on like, should we work with the government? And Bezos was like, yeah, freedom isn't free, so we're going to work with the government. He just took a strong stance, and maybe they're benefiting from it.
Yeah, I'm back on board Palantir. Not necessarily just because of this conversation, but just like everything that I'm seeing, it just seems like
I feel like
the
it's
company
just
wanna
one
own.
bad news day away from like a huge price shock.
Agreed.
Sort of.
It is due for like a hubris moment, like you said.
Like big
Yeah,
time.
I'm not saying you go out and buy it. It's just interesting that they would be a winner fundamentally.
I do think it is like a compounder that you are going to want to own for a long time. It's just what your entry price is definitely matters.
Yeah.
Unrelated,
but I want to own SpaceX, man.
Okay, so 2026. Everybody, I mentioned this on a pod or two ago, that like the whole world is like not seeing the world the way that I am. Like I see this amazing growth opportunity in AI, which leads to an IPO glut in 2026 of companies that are amazing IPOs. This to me seems like
what a year it could be.
SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI. Is that what you're thinking?
SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI, Anduril.
Yeah.
Anduril, maybe Databricks.
Databricks.
Like imagine if those all come out, they're all going to be successful. It then unleashes the wave of like the questionable ones, some of which are going to be successful. But this is where the bubble actually forms. Like
starts.
To
form.
Yeah. So I feel like now is a great time to be invested in this shit. And everybody's talking about atoms over bits. And I'm like, no, this is a time to be like bits fucking heavy bits, because we're about to go into like a crazy period in my opinion. But I feel like nobody sees the world in this way.
Well, I wouldn't say nobody, but yeah.
Well, the market is not valuing the world in this way.
Yeah. No, I think it's extremely exciting.
Can I ask the unrelated selfish question to the financial advisor in here? So I bought 2-3 weeks ago. I bought USO, which is oil futures. And originally I was like, oh, it'd be good balance to the portfolio in case any like political instability happens. So obviously it went up a lot.
Yeah, you gotta...
And then it went back down. And Chris was like, did you sell it? I was like, well, no, I didn't, because I was like, I just used it to balance out the portfolio. And I want to ask you, like, should I have just traded it? Like when it went up, should I just sold it? Or is it good to use this commodity? It's an atom.
Well,
as like just a balancer of the portfolio for this.
I think you're
term
asking two
where
different
we're-
questions. Like you're asking two different questions. You're using oil futures versus using...
Well, USO
Like
is just an ETF version where I can just buy the commodity, right? Like I'm not actually buying oil futures. That's how the
Okay.
ETF is structured. That's how it like actually owns the physical oil.
I don't know, dude.
Forget the futures. Just like,
okay,
imagine I bought,
this is
oil.
outside of my scope of knowledge. I don't know.
okay.
This is not how I trade. I want to own the themes that grow. And like, I think oil is a fair one, because like energy demand.
And maybe it
and-
just played
I
out.
mean,
Like,
were
who
you,
knows?
weren't
Maybe
you,
just,
you were trying to trade the war, right? Or no?
well, I was
this
just
meant
like,
to be
man, like
I want oil in
I'm
my
worried about my
for-
portfolio. So like, I'm going to buy a little stock of oil so that if it spikes and stocks go down, the whole portfolio doesn't like feel so doomy.
I don't know. This is not how I invest.
Okay.
I want compounders. I want things that are going to grow in log form,
Which are not commodities.
which are not, I mean, commodities grow in very stable forms. Like I feel, this is how I feel. We're talking about buying this black tar, and we're talking about buying rocks.
Talking like a couple % of the portfolio.
We're buying
to
rocks.
Offset.
We're buying rocks like gold and black tar when the biggest tech innovation of our entire lives is happening right in front of us. We know exactly how this is going to play out. It's going to require more computation. And we know the companies that are involved.
And you know,
the way, you
XAI
need-
is developing like full vertical integration with their own chips now too, right?
Oh, you know who this benefits? Broadcom. It's all Broadcom.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm off NVIDIA. Like Broadcom is the company that's
So
designing
you've been
these.
reading about these chips?
Yeah, it's all the custom ASICs. Like
Yeah.
we're moving off of NVIDIA, which is like the off the shelf solution, and everyone's designing their own, and they're all being designed by Broadcom. But then there's like a slew of companies that are involved in the interconnects and like building the copper and building the chips inside of those. And this is the area that I just feel like is
Interesting.
so ripe. And like most of these companies are down somewhere between 25 and 50% from their
Wow.
highs. And I just feel like we're going to see.
Give us a goddamn basket.
Yeah, I have it. I have it all in here.
Come on.
Okay. My favorite two.
Oh, you had it off the top of your head.
No, my favorite two are,
Okay.
are clear, but I'll give you a few
not
names.
financial advice.
I mean, I'm just going to be buying them, but it's not for, might not be for anybody else, but I'll be
Yeah.
buying them. AVGO, Broadcom, number one. It's like it wins under any scenario. Credo is like near term. So that's like copper based. We're going to move towards like optical interconnects, right? Nick, you're familiar with this, but that optical interconnect is not going to be a solution until like 2028 and beyond, maybe 2030. So we're going to go, instead of like co-package optics, we're going to have near package optics. I think that benefits companies like Marvell. Credo is still part of that.
Marvell sells straight up Ethernet cable, right?
Yeah. A Lab, A Net. I just want to own this entire theme.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
But
Thanks for
I think, I look for these like rare opportunities where like growth is clear and price is down, like price is favorable. Credo, man. Credo's.
So we're going to have these fucking AI satellites shooting off the moon with massive computation needs. Well, they're doing it for the energy savings. They're doing it for, and obviously Elon wants to like completely vertically integrate the entire supply chain end to end like he always does, which is wow, awesome. Yeah. No reliance on these vendors.
Data centers in space.
Data centers in space. We're going to look up at the sky, guys. Remember, remember when we were...
it was me, you, and Steven. We were on his rooftop.
Yeah. And I was like, guys, do you know how many satellites are in space? And I don't think you guys had looked up recently.
No, you said some like ridiculous number. And I was like, no, there's not.
Yeah, you didn't believe me. And then I was like, look up. And you guys just looked up and you couldn't stop looking for the next hour.
For the next
hour. You couldn't stop counting.
I couldn't stop counting the number of satellites circling the Earth. Because he was like 4,000 or something. I was like, bullshit.
Wait, you could see them?
Yeah, bro. So it was at the perfect time of night where like
they're everywhere.
I've never seen a satellite in my life.
Yes, you have. You just think you're looking at stars. No, they look exactly like stars.
Really?
But they're moving.
But you need to like stare at it for like stare at the night sky for 2 minutes. And if you do that long enough,
they move. Dilate.
Your eyes adjust and you're like, holy shit.
The entire sky.
The stars are nothing. Satellites?
Yeah, dude. we've transformed
It's in
them.
the computer.
Transformers.
But anyway, we saw hundreds.
Literally.
In that hour.
Literally.
Hundreds of satellites circling.
With the human eye.
Okay. I believe
in our little our viewpoint on this continent, like I guess counted like probably 200.
I just didn't think you could see them, I suppose.
No, they literally counted 200. But what I'm saying is soon, in our lifetime, we're going to look up, like, this is it. Say goodbye to the sky. Like, this is the end of your relationship with the clear sky
it's gonna be like
night.
Your phone, you mean? Like,
it's going to be
goddamn satellites.
I don't know, like...
Oh shit, they look the same.
A sort of cloud of, or maybe it's all revolving around one, I don't know, diameter, like one radius ring, like Saturn or something. But like, it's definitely going to be that, like, you look at Earth in the future and there's like a ring or a hue or a cloud.
That's how the aliens will spot us. They'll be like, oh, they got a lot of things
like the first goal is to like impart the energy of and then eventually like a Dyson sphere. Obviously, let's see if we're here for that.
I've read about that. Okay, so here are the obvious reasons why you want to have a data center in space. One is that you have like unlimited energy from the sun with no atmospheric block.
Yeah,
you have very cold temperatures, so you don't need cooling. I think what makes
gravity.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shooting them up each time, the energy.
Oh yeah, so if you shoot them from Mars, then you don't actually need to need like rockets.
Yeah.
Here's one obvious reason you don't need them.
They're going to do it from the moon, though.
Oh, they're doing it from the moon, not Mars.
Ships
the
are
whole
like
project has changed for Elon from Mars to the moon. Moon first. Moon is how we get there every single day instead of every 2 years with Mars.
There's one obvious reason why you wouldn't want them is because 90% of the cost of the data center is the chips. It's not the energy or the cooling. So like, why are you optimizing like the bottom 10% like of the costs?
Oh, they're making chips too.
Yeah, but like you don't need to shoot them into space to like
the
use
cost
the
reduction is definitely there, but the amount of compute these guys are looking at and talking about is just, it's ridiculous.
It could be that he's seeing that they want so much compute that they're actually just, the energy doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The amount of compute that's required is, and we're not even talking like, we haven't even talked about the future that I envision where there's a robot like folding your laundry in your house. Like the amount of compute that's required is going to be insane.
Unless we see a 10,000x reduction in, the amount of tokens per unit of energy, which could throw the whole thing off. And here's another one. I saw Gavin Baker, the guy I reference a lot.
I love this guy.
He's so fucking good. Anyway, he said the biggest bear case on this whole compute run is Apple. And if Apple can find a way to take a model and make it small enough, but also make the iPhone powerful enough where you can run the model locally on your device.
The edge compute, yeah.
Edge compute. So basically, it doesn't need to go to like a GPU to like run computation.
This is who I need to follow?
Yes.
Never heard of him.
You should more listen to like when he does a podcast, you should listen to.
Yeah, do the hour-long podcast. He's so
like
good.
his tweets are good. They're very informative. He writes good articles, but like you get the real juice because he's very technical, but he's also an investor. So he layman's terms it down to you like why, and he gives you enough technical if you're technical.
Okay. Any recent interviews that come to mind that I should
invest with the best? He did like one like within the last 6 months.
Looks like he was just on A16Z.
Yeah. Anyway, he says Apple's the biggest bear case to the whole compute run that could actually collapse the whole thing if they figure out a way to put a model on your iPhone.
I agree.
Anyway,
and I think if
those two things,
if that eventuality wins, I think I want to be long Qualcomm. Qualcomm's like edge compute winner.
So maybe 3 things to your list that could stop the generational run in compute is what you said: hyperscalers stop CapEx investing.
Mm-hmm.
2, reduction in tokens per unit of energy by like massive number of orders of magnitude.
All in.
And then Apple, like edge compute.
I agree.
Did you listen to that one on All In?
Okay. I listen to every one of Gavin Baker's.
Wow.
So
it's like 6 a year.
I agree with this 3.
Is that a good one?
I agree with this 3
just do
list.
the most recent one.
This 3 list I like. Okay, so have you been hearing, this is like part of the, I'm going to call it like the investment financial manosphere. The investment financial manosphere is talking about the private credit and private lending bubble.
Yep.
I mean, Citrini even mentioned this.
Talked about it in the
Private credit is like this generation's subprime mortgages. I think that's completely overblown. I think it's hogwash. I think that it probably affects like 20% of private equity firms, and then even then, it's still like isolated within private equity firms.
Private credit has been getting like a lot of stuff for the past like 2 years. And private credit is basically like, oh, we invested in businesses instead of mortgages. So like I can get you a 9% yield or whatever, 7% yield or.
Yeah. Right. And I was even listening to a guy today saying that like in 2008, it was the worst year for private credit ever. And the defaults were like immaterial. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't view that as like a big risk factor. I think the big risk factor is if any one of those 3 things you mentioned materialize, and then we get like the unwind of the recursive lending that's happening like between NVIDIA, OpenAI, Microsoft, Oracle, etc. That's like our generation, this generation's like subprime mortgages that just like sends us to oblivion.
Could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Recursive on the way down.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
But it like one of those 3 things would have to materialize. I think there's also
which I think if there's a dramatic decrease in the amount of tokens you can get per unit of energy, then you will see a decrease in CapEx spending, and you will also likely see like a model on an edge device, right? So like if one of those is true, then all of them are probably true. So it seems more like an eventuality rather than like if.
Agree. It is an eventuality. I think it's just a matter of time. I think these things move in phases. Which
sounds cool to me. Like I'd rather have this model on this device that Apple's not sending to a server.
Absolutely.
Just for pure privacy and.
Well, also just for convenience and speed, latency. Yeah. Like if we're moving to a future with like robotics and autonomy, like we're going to need to have that on the edge.
I think it's so important to not get too attached to your systems and workflow. I think the key lesson with like the over-analysis paralysis companies and people feel is just try stuff and have a very loose relationship with it. Knowing that like, don't try to make it perfect where don't be like my normal optimizer self where it's like, I got to have my memory set up and I got to have my integrations and everything has to be perfect. Because most likely it'll just be this cool, really personal, really private thing that you carry with you and own. And then you'll discard it and have a new one over here on this or that device. And eventually they'll all talk together. And I think there will be some sort of unified experience where you have a true personal AI that embodies you and moves with you and your family. But for now, next 10 years, I wouldn't be too attached to anything we do.
Yeah.
I think it's going to change so much. So much. So just think about it. Every system you interact with is another competing AI and intelligent system, from your robot in your house that it cleans, to the one that folds your laundry, to the food delivery, to
I just think the
digital version.
I think the growth trajectory is just a little cleaner and like more clear than that. I think like Jensen's talked about this. A lot of people talk about this. First, you scale up, you make the GPU more powerful, then you scale out, you combine GPUs together in a cluster, and then you scale across, you connect data center to data center. We're going to move to the inference phase, which is like having cables span
like we're there now,
thousands of kilometers, where you're getting inference happening in a data center that's like located nearby a metropolis. So that like decreases the latency. So like you move in these phases, and like the edge compute is coming, but it's like it's not going to happen before these other phases happen.
Sure.
They kind of all just move.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are aware of this or saw this, but where we are right now is that around the time of like GPT-2. So what would that have been like? Maybe 4 years ago?
2021? 2022?
Yeah, 5 years ago. Let's say that cost $1 million and like months of time. And like you have the greatest minds in the world working on this, brought through to possibility through DeepMind and large language models and transformers and everything that we do, right? In the span of a few hours and the cost of a few cups of coffee, Andrej Karpathy was able to create a model that is an equivalent of that. In addition to, it is currently self-improving while he sleeps.
Didn't he open source it and like give it to everyone?
Yes. And it's not so much that this model is so impressive. It's what it represents and the trajectory of growth that we've gone through over the last few years, that we're talking about like, $50, $100, not even. A few Starbucks coffees in a few hours can get you there now. And the fact that you have a swarm of agents that are all coordinated on an outcome of the training that would have required humans, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of beating your head on the wall. That's bonkers, man. Bonkers. So
have you tried his model?
No, I mean, I have no use for that.
I
think it's like a fun little experiment that if you're an AI engineer, you'd have a lot of fun with over a weekend. I have no use for that, but I think it's incredible.
His benchmark is time to GPT-2, and he's trying to see how, as a measure of the current state of technology, how short and cheap he can get that down to.
Yeah, and I think that what he really said in his post,
2.9 hours now.
What he really said in his post is the game is no longer like who's building the smartest model and spending the most money and like what's GPT 5.5 going to be. He's like, the game has completely new rules. The game is literally who can build the best coding research lab that is autonomous and self-improving for the cheapest cost. Like that's really organizational game of like a coding research lab.
Am I like out of my mind to think that Andrej Karpathy is doing the Lord's work here in decentralizing the power of these LLMs, like by giving the people the ability to run these models at home on a single GPU? It's like
they're not going to compete.
But it does like decrease the reliance ultimately on the top six.
It's not, they're not competing. They're just reducing the need to care. If like, because it ties back to what I was saying earlier, right? It's like no need to get too attached because eventually I'm going to have something so sick that's mine that I won't care about Anthropic. I won't care about OpenAI. I won't care about, all these concerns. So yeah, I think so. That's when I would be like, all right, time to care and time to set this up.
Okay, so there was another. We didn't talk about this in our text thread, but there was another topic that was in our tech chat in our Discord that was talking about this problem that I think it was like Harvard research or something that they encountered. They were like prompting any model that's out there with like vague questions, like what's the meaning of life, whatever, and like a series of like 50 questions. And what they found was that any model they use all sort of like funneled down the same path. Meaning, if you're finding yourself as like a copywriter asking like creative questions, like, hey, write me copy, it's actually not creative at all. It's literally just choosing the highest probability token outcome that leads us down the exact same path for all models.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Which is fine because like it's still better than a human. But yeah, I agree.
But it's like it's better for a human that sucks, and it's better for a non-creative human. But like, do you think that has like long-term negative ramifications?
No, because like you can still provide your own context. You can still provide.
Oh, I think this has negative ramifications long-term.
So yeah, I agree. What's your reasoning though? I think we have different ones maybe.
My reasoning is that it turns us all into slop creating non-thinkers that literally just regurgitate the same thing. Like regurgitating AI slop turns into commodity. So like we lose the ability to create the luxury good, which is like critical thought.
Yes.
And that's the problem.
Yeah. So it leads to like tremendous conformist thinking, like in a dangerous way.
Yeah.
Because suddenly what has happened is I believe and can experience anecdotally for sure that these systems can accomplish the work that would have taken me hours much faster than I could. So then I immediately say, let me start to outsource some of my thinking. I outsource my thinking. I get a great result. I shape it. I have my inputs. I adjust my outputs. And then I come back and I realize my outputs are starting to look like everybody else's. And as that starts to happen, you have this to what you described is like commoditization of creativity and how organizations run themselves, how people run themselves, how people write books, how people write poetry, how people do anything in the creative realm. And it all ends up just kind of looking and feeling the same. And everyone's also just starting to talk to each other with their AIs, which drives me crazy. And they're all just like talking past each other. Okay, so it is dangerous in that sense of like, it just kind of turns the world into a dull place.
So I actually want to pause here and like harken back to maybe an episode 6 months ago where you and I were debating on AI and the ability to reach like AGI or ASI. New knowledge. And my thought was the constraint is on the training data. It's like it's using text-based internet to determine the right answer, and anything that would be outside that right answer, the guardrails are on the humans to be like, that's not a real thing. So that's actually like it actually can't exceed that. I think that was my fundamental issue.
So the research paper that you're citing was looking at a lot of things that were like language related, but like there's so many examples like gaming or let's just stay with gaming or maybe also science, like biology, where AI has proven its capability to step in and be creative in new realms that humans would not have previously even attempted to, like the game Go, like the famous example of like how good the AI was at the game Go, that it came up with a move that was like 1 in a million move that a human would never make. And it was just like, this is genius. And there's a logical reasoning behind the move. So it seems to be very context dependent, because what the paper was citing is like, the reason it's doing that is because humans are picking the best answer. Well, like that sound like when they're shaping the responses of the AI, the human feedback in that training loop, it was just like, don't pick the extreme answers when you're training the AI. Picking the correct down the middle of the road ones.
Agree.
So they all start sounding the same.
Yeah, it's sort of like a human.
But AI
error.
does exhibit creativity in gaming, in new ways, in open systems. When you give it very little rules and very little constraints, it does exhibit a lot of creativity.
Okay, so on the biology front, I'm going to give you the go. I don't know much about that, but on the biology front, my hypothesis is that it's just able to do more testing than humans can do.
Yeah.
So it's actually just using human knowledge to do the testing that humans could do at a faster pace, therefore getting us to like biological breakthroughs. But I don't think it's like it's not exhibiting like greater intelligence than human. I think it's still
intelligence
bounded.
builds upon itself. So we're saying the same thing. Like, if I can run a multitude of experiments faster than ever before, I am a more intelligent system. Because every time I layer and I make a new discovery, that adds to my intelligence that I originally built upon. I originally started with, that was provided to me by the humans.
Yeah. But
Right?
but it is still bounded by the human to say, like, a human needs to put the check mark on it.
This is where our debate began, though.
Yeah.
It's the starting point. And what you're placing as a limit, I'm saying, was the starting point. Because every possible, like, if I'm able to play this experiment a millionfold simultaneously in parallel, eventually a breakthrough is going to happen. If there is a possibility of one. Once that breakthrough occurs, I have new knowledge to build upon.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Isn't that like
Just
layering
how
in a
humans
new?
are. It's similar to how humans create intelligence too.
But eventually, that horizontal capability becomes a vertical one, because there's a compounding of knowledge that's stacked upon the previous breakthrough.
But it's still governed. It's still governed by the human to put the check mark on it to be like, good breakthrough. Because it can't
Yeah.
if it keeps going on its own, humans will be like, this is malarkey. Like, you need to
a verification.
You have to.
Yeah.
Like I said, you could correctly identify that the cure to all cancers and all disease in the world was you connect the telomeres to the melodromes, and we would be like, that's not real. But it was correct. But we would say it's not real. You're hallucinating.
But I think what we're doing is we're stretching. So, like, okay, the human will be there and they'll say, look, I want you to come up with a cure. AI, I want you to come up with a cure for this disease, right? And so the human is going to be there to validate that cure actually works at the end. Okay. But then eventually, like, once that cure is proven, the humans will be there again to say, now we're on to solving the next great problem. That's a huge advantage. Like, if the role of the human, it's just like coding. Think about it. Coding is starting to become like, here are my requirements. I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I have a finished piece of, I don't know, a new pipeline that processes audio and picks out speakers and tells me the sentiment of how Nick is feeling, when he spoke. Oh, okay, great. But then I'm there to test it at the end and say, the system's telling me Nick was angry. I'm like, Nick wasn't angry. Nick was sad. Wrong. And runs it until it gets it right. But once it gets it right, we can move on to the next breakthrough and the next breakthrough and the next breakthrough.
Agreed.
And so AI can solve physics. AI can take us places that we've never been before, coexisting with humans.
Agree. That's exactly how I feel. That it doesn't just like turn into this general
Autonomous
intelligence
forever
that just like
intelligence.
beats humans. It requires like this symbiosis.
There's a symbiosis.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm not an AI doomer.
Yeah. Good. We're not doomed.
Because they can't validate until it's stepping into the physical realm. So where I would then devil's advocate myself is say, once there's a robot with my level of intelligence or more, then we're out of the equation.
I don't think so. Because we're still needed for that same thing you described.
What if the robot can validate as good as I can that that's the correct answer? Look at the human. Does he bruise anymore? The thing was, get Armand to stop bruising so easily. He has some blood condition. All right, check his arm.
Armand's dead now. Next, next subject.
once you remove that barrier, aren't we? Isn't it then more? Autonomous?
It just doesn't have the means to even determine whether or not it was successful on Armand without the steerer to be like good or bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we as long as we're here, we get to see it.
Yeah, I
it's
hope
gonna
so.
be good.
And we'll see moon launches with data centers, and
I can't wait to buy SpaceX.
I can't wait to buy.
hell of a
I
bet
can't wait to
that's
buy
gonna be.
Anduril.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Is that like your version of like an undervalued Palantir?
Well, it's 60 billion in private market, so it's, I don't know, that's undervalued, but I just think that it's a theme that I want to be invested in, and I think like the legacy names aren't really like playing the way that I want in this theme.
Yeah.
And I think there's a part of me that says like, do I really want to be like putting investment dollars
I
towards
know.
like warfare and death
I know.
and drones and
Surveillance.
shit? Like,
yeah.
probably not, but I also want to make some money, so it's my job. I'm gonna make it.
Yeah, that is kind of a conflict, huh?
Sort of.
What is that group called in Thank You for Smoking? It's like the Mod Squad.
The mod
Merchants
squad.
of Death.
Yeah.
It's like the gun
Cigarettes.
lobbyist, the cigarette lobbyist, and the alcohol lobbyist.
Made some good money if you invest in that over time.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, I was going to say it was still barely light outside thanks to daylight savings, but that was
I
no longer
know.
the case.
It's so nice.
Yeah. Well,
San Diego is, oh my God, level.
It's
lately.
been perfect.
I know.
Perfect. Like,
we need to leave here because I've been here all day.
Okay.
okay, let's do it.
Let's get out of here.
Let's do
Let's
it.
get out of here.
That was great.
Okay, good pod. Audio
Well-
only, but good.
Audio only. We're never coming back. That was the last you'll see of our faces.
I wasted these 6 pounds for nothing.
By the way, hopefully we got a recording.
Yeah.
Would you be sad?
Yeah.
That would be sad.
Nick, don't fuck it up.
All right.